The city of Luminara lay between river and hill, its streets braided with lantern light and old grudges. For generations, two houses, House Calder and House Morin, had shared the city's air, but not its peace. Their feud was an inheritance no one remembered earning, yet everyone paid its interest in whispers, glances, and blood kept just shy of spilling. On the western rise stood the Calder estate, white stone warmed by sun. To the east, near the river's bend, rose the Morin Manor, dark as the water it watched. Between them stretched the marketway, where life went on stubbornly, vendors shouting over bells, children chasing pigeons as if history had not taught the birds to fly away early. On the eve of the Festival of Embers, when the city burned old worries in ceremonial fires, Elian Calder slipped out beneath a borrowed cloak. He was 17, all quick wit and restless grace, and he carried the ache of a heart recently bruised by a love that had promised too much and delivered too little. "Smile," his friend Tomas whispered as they neared the river plaza. "It's a night for forgetting." Elian smiled because he had practiced it. He smiled because the city demanded it. The plaza blazed with torches and music, masks flashing silver and red. Morin banners fluttered openly there, an invitation and a warning both. "Stay close," Tomas said. "Calder colors don't fade just because you hide them." Elian nodded, and then he saw Lyra Morin. She stood near the fire pit, her mask a simple crescent of moonlight. The crowd bent around her as water bends around stone. When she laughed, it was quiet, as if she had learned to keep joy from offending anyone. Elian forgot to stay close.
2.
Lyra had come unwillingly. Her cousin Saren had insisted, tugging her into the lantern glow. "You can't spend your life in the library," Saren teased. "Even tragedies begin with dancing." Lyra had smiled thinly. She loved words more than crowds, and silence more than noise. Still, the festival pulled at her. Embers rising, prayers written on ash. She felt his gaze before she saw him. When she turned, a boy in a plain cloak met her eyes.
No buy, no boast.
Only curiosity, open and brave. "May I?" he asked, gesturing to the space beside her. "If you promise not to ask my name," Lyra said. He laughed softly. "Then promise not to ask mine." They watched the fire together. Sparks leapt like small stars losing their way. 3. They spoke as strangers do when the night lends courage. He told her of the city's hidden corners, of a fig tree that grew from a crack in the wall. She told him of books smuggled across borders, of words that survived worse feuds than theirs. "What do you fear?" he asked. "Becoming careful," she said. "You. Missing the moment when my life begins." The drums rolled. Masks came off as tradition demanded. Lyra turned, heart lifting, and then freezing. "Elian," someone called from behind him. "Calder." The word fell between them like a blade. "Morin," Lyra whispered, recognizing the name now stitched invisibly into her bones. For a breath, neither moved. Around them, the city roared. "I didn't know," Elian said. "Neither did I," Lyra replied. Then Saren was there, pulling Lyra away. Tomas grabbed Elian's arm. The fire flared as if fed by the shock.
4.
Sleep refused them both. Elian climbed the garden wall at dawn, dew soaking his boots. He found himself beneath a window threaded with ivy. He hadn't planned it. His feet had known before his mind did. "Go," he told himself. "Stay," said a voice above. Lyra leaned out, hair loose, eyes shadowed by wonder and fear. "You shouldn't be here," she said. "I know." "Then why?" "Because the night lied," he said. "It told me names mattered more than truth." She studied him. "Truth can be dangerous." "So can names," he answered. They spoke softly, as if the ivy might listen. Promises were not made, but something gentler and stronger took shape. A decision to meet again. Their refuge became the old bell tower, abandoned since the quake. There, amid dust and pigeons, they learned each other's faces without masks. "We are foolish," Lyra said once, smiling anyway. "Then let us be foolish together." Elian replied. They shared stolen hours and borrowed hope. Tomas covered for Elian. Saren watched Lyra with worried eyes and said nothing. News traveled faster than vows. A Caldermoran scuffle broke out near the marketway, knives drawn, pride wounded. The city remembered how to hate.
6.
The elders met. Voices rose like walls. They will destroy us, Lord Morin declared. They already have, Lady Calder replied. Plans were made, without consulting the young. Lyra was promised to Darian Voss, a merchant's son whose smile never reached his eyes. Elian was ordered to leave Luminara, sent to an uncle's estate beyond the hills. When Lyra told Elian, the bell tower seemed to lean closer. Run with me, he said. I can't, she said. Not yet. Then marry me, he said, reckless with love. She touched his face. We will find a way. 7. They sought help where secrets were kept. Sister Althea, keeper of the hospice gardens, listened with eyes like still water. Love can end feuds, Althea said, or it can burn them brighter. Help us, Elian pleaded. Althea agreed to a quiet union, a vow spoken among herbs and bees. But patience, she warned, and trust. They married at dawn, the city unaware. 8. The plan was simple, and therefore fragile. Lyra would feign illness to delay her wedding. Elian would leave as ordered, then return when tempers cooled. Althea would send word when it was safe. But the city had its own designs. A duel flared near the river. Tomas fell, wounded by Saren's blade, a tragic accident born of pride. Elian, arriving too late, struck back. Saren died before the crowd understood what it had made. Elian fled Luminara under sentence of exile. Lyra's world went silent.
9.
Grief sharpened decisions. Darian pressed for the wedding. I will not, Lyra said. You will, her father replied, voice breaking. For peace. Althea brewed a sleeping draught, pale as dawn. It will mimic death, she said. When you wake, Elian will be there. Lyra hesitated. If this fails. Have faith, Althea said.
X.
The message went astray. A frightened courier carried Althea's letter through rain and rumor. He was turned back at the hill by Calder guards who did not know his errand. Elian heard instead from a traveler. They buried a Morin girl today, the man said. The city wept. The world narrowed to a single thought.
11.
Night wrapped the Morin crypt. Elian slipped inside, breath loud in his ears. Torches flickered against stone. Lyra lay pale, beautiful as a promise kept too long. I am sorry, he whispered. I was late. He drank the vial he had carried since exile, poison bought for courage he did not need. Where you go, he knew. I follow.
12.
Lyra woke to darkness and the sound of a body falling. Elian? She found him cold, his face calm as sleep. No, she breathed. The city above sang with wedding bells meant for her. Lyra took the dagger at his side. Names, she said softly, were always too small for us. 13. Dawn found 2 houses broken open by grief. Althea stood between them, ash on her hands. See what your feud has fed, she said. Lord Morin knelt. Lady Calder wept. They built a garden where the bell tower had been, planted with fig trees and moonflowers. They ended the feud in words that cost nothing compared to what they had spent. The city learned the story and told it wrong and right, adding lines and losing truths. But sometimes, at dusk, when embers rose like stars, lovers stood quietly by the garden and held hands. And Luminara remembered that love, once burned, leaves light behind.